I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Don't go through a breakup alone. Click on the link in the description below to get a one-on-one coaching with me, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about why it didn't last. So there are a ton of reasons as to why relationships don't work out. And sometimes people are just unable to do it. There are a lot of reasons as to why that could have happened, and generally a big part of that is the relationship that they formed with their caregivers. So if they had a relationship where they were abused, abandoned, neglected, unseen, unheard, maybe their parents had alcohol issues or drug issues, maybe they worked all the time, maybe they had a lot of kids, so they couldn't give you a lot of individual attention, maybe they had anxiety or depression or mental illness. There's a lot of reasons as to why someone would form an insecure attachment style. And the more symptoms there are of their behavior and their acting out, the more they were traumatized and the more unmet needs that they had growing up. So what you have to understand is that there's a real correlation between somebody's ability to maintain a romantic relationship with the relationship that they had with their caregivers. So unlike a lot of the other coaches out there that don't understand, sometimes it's not you. And you can't always be the one that takes the blame. Sometimes somebody just can't do it. So this is an email that I got from somebody that I think there's no way the ex in this situation can handle a romantic relationship. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into this one. The guy is 40 years old and the girl is 27. And I'm just going to go ahead and start off with this email. He says, I've known her since she was about 20. We met online. I met her in person at 21. We lived in separate states. It was upon meeting her that she told me she was 21, not closer to 30 that she had suggested. So, not a great way to start a relationship. You're telling the guy you're close to 30 and you're 21. So, already we see she's a liar. And that's a pretty significant lie to tell somebody. You know, she should have been honest, and then he could have made a decision based on that. When she was 21 and a half, 21 and a half, that just goes to show the age difference. He's got to add that half a year. She moved about 3 hours away from where he lived, and they started dating. He said she was about 22 or 23 when they dated for about 6 months, at which point she suddenly broke up with me. Not a good sign either when it's sudden like that. Another red flag for me. I think this woman is really immature, and you're going to see there's a lot going on here. We got back together 2 months later after she dated a guy. So that tells me she left him to be with another guy. Didn't work out with that guy, so she goes back to him. That's what I think probably happened there. She was probably 23 or 24. I proposed to her and figured the marriage would be about a year away. Well, this sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? All right, strap yourselves in. We're about to go on the roller coaster here. About 6 months later, we got an apartment. She was 25, I believe. Hard to remember the exact age and dates, but it's approximate. A few months into our apartment relationship, her father came with his family and was very disapproving of us living together. Ultimately, when he returned home, he called her out, and he would not break bread with a sinful woman living like a whore. All right. So much. So much. First of all, a sinful woman, that's your daughter. Okay? And you don't disown your daughter because she decides to be in a romantic relationship as an adult. That's ridiculous. And it just goes to show how abusive he is. He called her a whore. You're going to call your daughter a whore because she's got a boyfriend that she's living with? This is just at the tip of the iceberg, though, guys. I know a lot of you guys may disagree with what I'm saying based on just this little bit of information, but I can tell you, I have been a therapist for 15 years now, at this point, as I'm recording this video. There is a lot more going on than that. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I guarantee that dad was abusing this girl, manipulating her, and treating her terribly her entire life. That's just a little part of it. Although I chastised her father, he wound up taking out his anger on his family. That sounds appropriate, doesn't it? And the girlfriend was so upset with him, even though I had technically done anything but defend her, she broke up with me. So, he tries to do the right thing, defend her, she breaks up with him. Sounds to me like she has not separated from her father in a healthy way at this point in time, right? I was in the hospital for a few days, and when I returned, this is what I didn't understand. When I returned, that was a man in my bedroom and on our bed. They were eating. She was on the chair, he was on the bed. Primarily, I think, because it was so hot and there was no air conditioning. I'm sure he had other things on his mind. What man? Who are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense to me. What, are you talking about another guy? Because at first I thought you meant the father. But I don't think you mean the father because you're saying he had other things in his mind. This girl, you were in the hospital and you come to the house and there's another dude sitting on the bed with her? This isn't a red flag for you because it's another huge red flag for me. He says, that was such a devastating blow, and I could not understand why she would do that to me when I was essentially trying to defend her against the cruelty of her father. Long story short, we would be in bed, and she would be looking at dating sites. You would be laying in bed, and she would be looking at dating sites. This is somebody that you want to get back with? Couldn't she have been at least a little bit more respectful and told you to go to sleep? Or take it to the bathroom? Like a real champion? Come on, dude. Seriously. This is ridiculous. She's looking at dating sites while you're laying in bed together. That's pretty damn disrespectful. Throughout much of 2015, our apartment relationship had incredibly romantic and hopeful periods, punctuated by the fact that she would leave me out when she would see friends, or she would leave out and wouldn't tell me where she was going. She would go out and not tell you where she was going? Come on, man. I'll tell you where she was going. She had set up dates on the dating sites where you were going to sleep. He said, I was not demanding, but I thought it was a good idea to know for the sake of safety. Really? The sake of safety? How about that's your girlfriend and she's going out at night and you don't know where she's going and she's on dating sites? Let's be honest with ourselves here. You're denying like what's really going on within you. You're pissed. And you should be. She soon developed a best friend, a female, and I noticed that she began to change. I was okay and tolerant and accepting that she was going through changes. Like I said, you're suppressing your needs here, and you're suppressing your anger. That she's going out and doing what she wants, including looking at dating sites when you're in bed together. Not okay. This is like not okay at all. And what it tells me is that you have serious attachment traumas and that you have been groomed by your caregivers to tolerate so much neglect, abuse, hurt, manipulation that now you're tolerating it in your romantic relationships. Right? When you're a child, the bond with your caregivers is more important than your own needs, because without your caregivers you die. But as an adult, your bond with other people is not more important than your own needs. And if you're a healthy, mature adult and you've worked through your issues, you would understand my needs come first, not the other person's, especially when it's somebody in this situation that's completely doing inappropriate things in the relationship. Obviously, there are times where you have to put your partner first, but I'm talking about this situation where this girl is going out, disappearing with other people, doing what she wants, and looking at other guys on dating sites. Like, this is ridiculous. He said, it seemed things were going okay. I don't make this up, people. I don't make this up. I know you think that I make this up, but this is real. He seemed that things were going okay to this guy. It's not going okay. It's going really bad. Dude, I'm sorry, but this is not a good relationship. She is totally treating you like garbage here. She's very disrespectful to you. Alright. November, she told me at her own apartment, but we would still be dating. Yeah, you would be dating her, and whoever else she felt like talking to would be dating her too. I had lost my job, but I was working hard to turn my situation around. Well, good for you. She claimed that she wanted stability and my temper to be in check. Okay, so if you have a temper, what does that tell you? You're losing emotional self-control, probably anxiety, the separation anxiety. When she's doing inappropriate things, it kicks up your separation anxiety because you feel that disconnect from her, and that's why you're lashing out. I have to tell you that honestly, most of my friends think that they would have lost their cool as well. Yes, I would too. If their significant other had come home late and not telling where they are, yes. Yes, no, that's not okay. I would be pissed too, dude. You're right for feeling angry. You can't suppress your emotions. You can't let somebody mistreat you or abuse you or take advantage of you like this. No, it's not okay. I mean, if you want to be in an open relationship, that's on you. But if you guys are committed to each other, this stuff is not okay. He said, oddly enough, I don't think she was cheating. Come on, man. You don't think she was cheating? If that's the case, then why wouldn't she tell you where she was at and who she was with? Why would she be on dating sites while you're laying in bed together? That doesn't add up, man. I'm sorry. It just doesn't add up. Since then, she has asked me for money and help. I did at first, but then I began to stop because I felt manipulated. Yes, she was manipulating you. Even though she wanted to see me and have me take her out for dinner. She is totally taking you for granted, dude, and taking advantage of you. She sees that you care about her, and she just doesn't care about you. She's treating you like an object. She's got no empathy for you. There were a few months where we didn't talk at all, and then started about 2 months ago when she started contacting me a lot, telling me that she was at a bonfire with her friends, and she heard our wedding song on the radio, and told me this out of the blue in a text. She would tell me her feet were sore and that she missed me rubbing her feet. See again how she's treating you like an object? She doesn't miss laughing with you or having fun with you. She misses you doing something for her. Alright. She would tell me she was having a bad day, that you would occasionally get her takeout Chinese food. At other times she would leave a message saying that she just wanted to talk. She told me she didn't want to date, and she asked him if he had slept with anybody over a Skype chat that they had, and he felt like he was being interrogated. Why does she care what you're doing? She's doing whatever she wants. While you're together, why would she care what you're doing afterwards? She texted me recently telling me that she had told her coworkers about playful antics in bed with us. So that's nice. She's telling people about your sex life too. That's great. She would get frustrated when I wouldn't call her back, but I couldn't because I was too hurt and confused, and in the back of my mind, I thought she was going to minute delayed me for money. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing ask for money. I'm noticing a pattern of videos with the grammar completely being off and me looking like I can't read English. I can't, but this is even worse. This makes me look even worse. Oh, man, dude. Our correspondences have been back and forth. I have not really been wise enough to avoid the no contact, but I have not spoken with her in any great earnest in the last month or so. I told her that she needed to move on, finally, and that she should stick with her discipline. Still, I fear that if she was reaching out to me, I may have burned the bridge too hastily. No, you didn't. You tolerated a lot of craziness. And what does he say here? Which is what I would have picked up on a lot sooner. But he says, I believe she suffers from borderline personality disorder from an abusive father, and many of the books I have read seem to suggest that she meets most of these red flags. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. I know what I'm talking about. Early attachment traumas. Borderline personality disorders forms very, very early in us. It has to do with our attachment with mom, our caregiver, and it is basically, I hate you, don't leave me. That's what it is. That's borderline personality disorder. I hate you, don't leave me. A strong degree of narcissistic behavior punctuated by a persistent sense of loneliness. She often says in her text that she's trying to be a strong woman. Narcissism is also a very early developmental arrest as well. Somehow he handled the breakup. He said he was upset, but ultimately he had to move out and moved on. I think one of the ways of her handling problems is to break it off rather than to fix things, and some of that may be youth or inexperience, but I also think it's a product of her psychology. Well, that's an understatement, buddy. She's got attachment disorder, and she is a long, long way from any kind of healthy romantic relationship. A long way. A long, 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 long. Really long. None of her friends knew me, so there was really nobody to give me the benefit of the doubt when she would be upset, and they probably said, you need to get away from that guy. Her grandfather is the only real role model, but he's never had his own children. How has he not had his own children if he's a grandfather? I'm guessing maybe he was like a step-grandfather, which he didn't say. But, let me go on. Oh, man. And he's a Wall Street hustler with, I believe, somewhat debatable morality. and I don't think he's really the best person to dispense advice. No one in her family nor her grandparents realized how much money I had helped to support her. Without me, she would not have been able to quite literally, to make it, like, literally and fiscally. Yeah, Grandpa sounds like a mess, too. He says, I don't know where she lives now, so the only place I'm aware of is her work, and is where to move. I have absolutely no connection. I think because of her abusive father, largely verbally, it has a huge impact on her. She once told me that her father would not embrace her once she developed breasts at 12 or something like that. Oh my God. You see how crazy this family is? When she was 12 years old and hit puberty, she developed breasts and her father wouldn't hug her after that? Come on. Jeez. No wonder why this girl is a mess. Think about it from her perspective. She's a little kid, and she starts to go through puberty, which is hard enough as it is, and now all of a sudden, your dad starts acting like he doesn't love you. Very bizarre. I might add that his mother was very abusive to him also. Maybe Grandpa. She recognizes that her father impacted and scarred her significantly, and she knows that she deals with depression. But I don't think she has money or inclination to do anything. Maybe get help, I guess you mean. You can always go to college campuses for counseling. It's generally fairly cheap, and you can get, even if you're not attending a college, you can generally get college counseling from the interns for like $10 an hour. So, and these interns are highly monitored by professors with a lot of experience, so you could always go into that. If I had a question more than anything, it was, or is, if I care about her and love her, how to why retain her friendship when it's clear that she was reaching out to me and she knows that I have money, but I don't want to be manipulated either, and I feel like she's fallen into a possible pattern without even realizing it. I think she's using you. I think she's using you for money for sure. On the other hand, what if she was truly reaching out and attempting to build the bridge, and in my self-protective mode, ignored her, and I blew it? No. Come on, man. Look at the way she's treated you. You're in denial about this whole situation. And you need to come to terms with the reality of it. And you said in the email after this that you're not in denial, but you are, because look at her behavior. You read this as if it was a completely different person, like you're reading it from a stranger. Be detached from it. Don't be emotionally connected to it. And you tell me that if I'm laying next to a girl in bed and she's on a dating site and she's going out and not telling me where she's at, you're going to believe that she's not cheating? Come on, man. I hate to break it to you, but this girl is a disaster. And, rightfully so. Her whole family is just abusive, neglectful, manipulative. They called her a whore. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, I feel for the girl. I really do. At the same time, I can't recommend working it out with somebody that just can't do it. She can't do it, man. She works really hard on herself and gets a lot of help for herself. She's not going to be able to. She has to process the abuse she's gone through. She has to process the neglect, and she has to learn how to have a healthy relationship with somebody. But a good way to do that for her is with the connection to a therapist and healing that way. I mean, it can be done through you, but in a relationship, but she's just not showing any signs of that. She's just not. It does sound like she's borderline, which is a very, very difficult personality disorder to deal with. Very, very difficult. And to be honest with you, it's so challenging that a lot of clinicians don't even want to deal with it. Whether that's okay or acceptable, that's a completely different decision, but, I'm just putting it out there for you so you can see the reality of the situation. And guys, don't try to go and diagnose your girlfriend borderline, because it's not a... Don't do that, okay? I understand some of you guys might be thinking, well, maybe my girlfriend's borderline. Borderline it doesn't happen very often. It's very severe and it's very extreme. So, don't just think that your girlfriend has a borderline personality disorder, okay? Not saying that she couldn't, but it's extreme. It's the extreme of the extreme, and it has to do a lot of neglect and hurt and pain in the very, very early childhood with relationship with their caregiver. So, I just want to share with you guys that sometimes people can't do it. They can't handle that intimacy. They can't handle that connection. There's a lot of pain that comes with attachment and love for them, and they have to deal with it appropriately before they can get into a healthy, committed relationship. So, those are some words to think about. If you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. If you like this video, throw a thumbs up on there, throw a like, and leave your comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, because I do post videos Monday through Friday. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth. That's it for this video. I will talk with you soon.